Disclaimer: the following program features language not suitable for all audiences, and the expressed opinions found within this program are a reflection of those who feature on the PopCulture Effect podcast. Welcome to the PopCulture Effect. I'm Rockin Rob, and on this show I bring my closest friends together to talk about all of the news happening in our pop culture world around us.
Welcome to the PopCulture Effect. I am Menace, and I'm joined here today by Gemini.
Hello.
And Subset.
Heyo.
And we got a small group today. Shouldn't be too long of an episode for you.
Now, before we get into the main chunk of today's episode, that being talking about the live-action Legend of Zelda movie coming up, I want to take a moment to talk about a childhood cartoon that just had its Season 3 wrap-up, that being Bluey. Bluey is a heartwarming kids show that has honestly taken the world by storm with its popularity, its relatable storytelling, and its ability to hook the older parental audience that grew up with the similar shows when they were young. And Bluey does a phenomenal job at telling educational and emotional stories that tackle a lot of close to the heart issues when it comes to growing up and parenting. The final 2 episodes of Season 3 have released on Disney Plus, and everyone is clamoring at how emotional and incredible they are. We start off with The Sign as Bluey and her sister Bingo, along with their parents Bandit and Chili, deal with potentially selling their home and moving away, along with the grandiose event of all animated shows, a wedding plot, with the wedding of long-standing side characters Rad and Frisky. There's a classroom scene that genuinely hit me in the feels and made me tear up a bit, with Bluey learning a proverb about how to deal with change in life. We'll see. That whether you deal with good or bad luck in life, that you'll have to see what happens. This doubles as a beautiful meaning, but also the setup for the format of the episode, as the family's search for Frisky mirrors that of the good and bad luck dynamic, as she has left the wedding because Rad has plans of moving them away after the wedding. The comedy in the back and forth with the kids and Chili and their search is pretty great, and this eventually leads to every piece of good and bad luck, leading to both the marriage being saved and the home buyers choosing a different house with a pool through Bluey's lucky coin. And the 50th episode was actually a surprise episode, aptly titled Surprise, and it shows the kids learning what it takes to have kids of their own. And then it cuts to a flash forward, a la Steven Universe Future, with Bluey visiting the family home, wrapping up the story of the episode in a nice little bow. Bluey is a beautiful show that can deeply connect with children and the parents that raised them, and it really deserves your time. Please go check it out, and I can definitely say it's worth it. Anyways, that's all I have on Bluey, and now it is time to head over into the discussion behind the live-action Legend of Zelda movie.
Gemini, how is the news on the live-action Zelda movie?
So, if you don't follow Nintendo or their movies, which I am one who actually doesn't, but I do.
I don't either. I occasionally look at it.
I don't pay attention to it at all. But because I really like the game they're making this movie out of, I have seen it floating around. I think it's slightly old news, but they've released a little bit more information about it. And that is the live-action Legend of Zelda movie that I think they teased back a bit ago after Mario came out, and now it's confirmed that it's live action, and I'm not too sure how to feel about that at all.
Same.
Because here's the thing, I feel like of all of Nintendo's things that they could make a movie out of, Legend of Zelda would be the easiest one to do live action, because there's not as many kookily designed creatures. Like with what's in Legend of Zelda, it could probably be more easily computer generated and everything than a lot of the kooky designs of the Mario world and Kirby and all that shit. Those are the only 2 that I know of off the top of my head. Maybe Donkey Kong, but I kind of consider him in the Mario franchise, but that's besides the point.
Go on, pop off.
That's fair.
But anyway, so it's going to be live action, and the movie director aims to make a serious adaptation that feels real. And serious and real are in quotation marks, so I'm not too sure what he's meaning by that, but it's a little because it's live action, and I don't know how to feel about that, because
this is going to be an edgy Link, and that's why he doesn't say anything, because he's edgy.
We're trying to bring in the Game of Thrones fans for this movie.
Oh my god, yeah, they probably are. But anyway, no. So about that, with the whole edgy thing, in technicality, there could be 2 ways that they could pull this off, and I feel like I'm talking really fast, so I'm gonna need to back it up.
You're good.
I told Rami I don't think I'm in a good spot for this, but whatever. What were we talking about?
I believe in you, Gemini.
Live action.
Yeah, live action, something about doom and gloom, maybe?
Oh yeah, I said he's edgy, and that's why he doesn't talk.
Yeah, so there's 2 things about that. One is it has been confirmed canonically that, at least in Breath of the Wild, he doesn't speak because he feels he is unworthy to speak or something like that. He has to perform his job as a knight. I don't remember fully, but like it's confirmed in that like he firmly believes he's like bleh, because that's his role. So that could be, but I highly doubt they will do that. But also they would probably, to make it like feel serious and everything with that, Shadow Link could probably be like some kind of climactic point depending on the role that they take the movie's themes.
Could be. I guess it depends on where they're starting with the timeline.
And that's another thing. They could easily do with what Breath of the Wild is, where it's like an offshoot, alternate timeline that's its own separate thing. And more than likely, they'd probably put references from the older games, such as Shadow Link and everything, which I feel like Shadow Link has also appeared in more than just Ocarina of Time. I think it was in Twilight. Yeah. So, like, it could even just be like, oh, this is a thing because it's a thing in a thing.
It's dumb. In my opinion, I'm not hyped. I'm interested, but I am a little disappointed that it's live action.
Yeah, because I'm still firmly setting up this is the hill I'll die on of live action isn't always better because you can't be as expressive versus animation. Designs are much easier to design in an animation setting than in a live action setting.
And I know Nintendo has a lot of money, but boy, they're gonna waste a lot of money going into just getting the actors.
More than likely, they're gonna want some of their big names. I swear to God, one thing I hope is that they either have some form of what is the word I'm thinking? I'm like honoring Robin Williams either by having a reference to him like they did in Breath of the Wild, or if his daughter, I think doesn't she do stuff now in the acting world? I don't remember.
A bit. I need to double check.
Oh yeah, she is an actress and a director.
Okay.
So yeah, like I hope then either that or she would be like could have something to do with it, you know?
Yeah.
But I've already lost my train of thought.
Collect yourself now. I believe in you.
Trying. Live action in partnership with Sony. So there's that. Kind of like, was it Sonic? I don't remember. But they would like to see it as a live action Miyazaki as well. So that's why they could go with a realistic, serious tone in a Miyazaki way. And I don't think it'd be as cringe.
It won't be as cringe, but I don't know. Like, I can get why they're doing the live action strat for this one, because it's Legend of Zelda. You want to have the view, you want to have the spectacle
and you can still perform that with the level of technology that CGI has progressed to.
Which, fair, but I don't know. I really don't know why they went with this route, but I guess we'll stick with it and see how it goes.
Yeah, I think it has a potential to be better than other video game live action series have been.
No, Nintendo? Yeah,
and especially since they're partnering with Sony, I think that's a smart move rather than going to like some random American like producer people. I don't know what I'm thinking of. Anyway, I feel like that's a better choice for them to go through Sony, and then
it goes down to the actors.
Yeah, that's
as well. Thing. Like, who do you pick for these roles?
Well, obviously they would probably they could probably pick almost anybody for Link, but I feel the most money saving
anybody route. For Link.
Well, not even that, but like I feel like their best money saving route was honestly just ripping audio from the game, because he doesn't talk. He makes grunts and like yeah. Like, I feel like that would be a money saver, but they probably wouldn't. But it could be an idea, because that's the only sounds he makes, or like when he falls.
Or they can pull like a
I can see them doing like funny stuff where like since he doesn't speak and like have a scene where he falls down and you hear the height.
Yeah, like that's what I think would be a good idea for Link's voice, but I can see them not, because I don't think
having him speak would go well.
I would like to see him. One headcanon a lot of people have been going around since it's been like in the internet for a while is that even though he doesn't really speak, people are wondering if it's possible that they can make him speak through signs.
I mean, I've seen that headcanon floating around a long time. Like Link speaks, he's like either fully mute or he's selectively mute, and he just speaks with sign language.
Yeah, I could see that.
And honestly, I don't think that's really a bad idea. Yeah, some people would complain that's the whole because you don't see it in the game, but it's like, well, I don't think
he doesn't need to. He had Navi from his voice.
He had either something to be his voice and speak for him, or it's a video game, so the text box pops up.
Yeah.
So it's a video game. You don't account for that stuff unless that's specifically like a big core part of the game mechanics, but it's not.
And then just let him speak on like very important key moments or conversations, shit like that.
Even
like,
that's a little too far in my opinion.
And that's just Link. Now, Link is Link. We can have the discourse with him. Now goes down to the main preface of the other two. Zelda and Ganondorf. Who?
Okay, so there's a lot of options that could be Zelda because she's a very prominent figure, and they could go either two routes with how they cast her, either as her previous renditions where she's just, you know, oh, save me kind of character.
Or very authoritative or the Twilight Princess.
Or they could go that route.
You know? Or hell, even completely make her bubbly like in Skyward Sword.
Yeah, like, you know, she has many different renditions of her, so I guess it would all depend on what kind of rendition they're going for. Would they want to go with the more has a bit of a has like inferiority complex but is still a badass like Breath of the Wild? Would they go with where like she's a child practically? Would they go with the one where she's a swashbuckling pirate? You know, it all depends what kind of Zelda personality. Or would they go with how the TV show was, where she's just a waif princess, you know? I think that's what it was it was an anime from the 80s, so I wouldn't be surprised if she was more like I don't know who'd be casted for that. It could be anyone from Margot Robbie to some new chick on the block.
Okay, Margot Robbie as Zelda.
I can
probably see. Yeah, I can see it.
She managed to pull off two pretty completely opposite roles of each other personality-wise, so I mean...
Yeah.
But, as for Ganondorf... I'm gonna be dead honest. Who I think would make a good Ganondorf? Rami Malek. I honestly feel like he could make a good Ganondorf.
Rami Malek?
Even you don't know who that is? He played Freddie Mercury in the Freddie Mercury movie. I don't remember what else he's been in, but he's been in other things.
Because I was gonna say something going Jason Momoa or some shit.
No, my only other option, but I didn't want to say it because this one I think would be a little bit more into like. Robbie, you can cut this portion out. Like anyway, I like Indian character or an Indian character, just an Indian actor because he just has that look.
I mean, okay, now, oh my god, this is why live action is just such a f***ing hassle.
If not Indian, maybe a little bit more to the left country. Is it left?
Iranian, Arabic, like that. Egyptian,
Israeli
maybe?
Or something.
Like we already know, like, the Ganondorf's people are centered in the desert, and they're based off of Middle Eastern.
Yeah, so I feel like a Middle Eastern actor somewhere in, like, that general area of the world would make a good ethnic
and then it goes down to the
casting.
Point of, when we do this, it all depends on what era and what point of the timeline we're working this thing on.
I guess, yeah, to be fair, if it's, like, Ganondorf where he's just a pig cloud in the sky...
Literal pig, like, okay, so we're going straight in the beginning. Alright.
Yeah, like, is he just a pig cloud in the sky? Because if it's that, you can get, you know, Dale Jr. from Home Depot to voice.
Oh my god.
I almost said Dale Earnhardt Jr. Oh my god.
Now, say that we've been through this rant pretty long. In your guys' opinion, what era are you guys willing to see?
Ocarina of Time, that one. I want to see a movie about that one. It's the best.
It's the best.
Next one will be the first Legend of Zelda game.
That's fair.
I want to see Ocarina of Time as well because it leads into Majora's Mask, which is my favorite.
Ah, that'd be good for a sequel setup then, you know?
Hey, and everybody likes a good timey-wimey bullshit movie.
Exactly. Like, this is, I want to be on, like, well, it's both. It's timey-wimey in the sense of, you know, the days reset and time's weird, but you're also going into an alternate universe.
Love Ocarina of Time, one of my best ones, but
right?
I will say I am really looking into, like, Twilight Princess. That's the era I want to see, because there's not a lot of stuff you really see of Twilight Princess era anyway. Other than that, Gemini, about the very first one, because I do want to see the origin origin. I don't know if it will go back even further back, shit like that. You know what I mean?
I think with that, the Skyward Sword would chronologically be the first one because that does explain the setup for a lot of how they go back to the land and make like kind of like begin Hyrule or whatever, or like bring it back up. I don't remember. I haven't played Skyward Sword in a long time, but like that. Or if they want to go for nostalgia's sake, the first game because it was the first game, even though chronologically it's not.
Knowing Nintendo, they're gonna be stickler on either keeping it at the very beginning or complicate things.
Or they're gonna do we're gonna make our own story.
And then
or
reference.
Similar to the MCU, reference the games, but the films are in its completely own little timeline.
Yeah. Oh, wait.
The scores.
Hold on a minute. So I just read this little portion, and apparently the producer will be Avi Arad. His most famous work was Into the Spider-Verse. So, and then Jurassic World writer Derek Connolly will be handling the script, which it's Jurassic World. So
I can work with this.
From I guess that little piece of extra information, then it does look like at the very least this movie is in competent hands.
But competent hands can only do so much when everything else is piling in.
That's fair, which is why
look what's going on with the Borderlands movie.
Which is why I never said, godly excellent hands. Competence.
Having a Spider-Verse writer,
producer.
I could say that's good. It's good hands.
That's why I said they're competent hands, but the hands can only do so much.
Now, with this is that seeing them doing this shit in live action, and a lot of people are already thinking, oh, this is all getting connected to like a Smash era, kind of thing. Are they just gonna keep them live action, or are they gonna just turn them into animation?
I'm not sure if this one specifically would be connected to the Smash thing that everybody's talking about.
That's fair, because time is weird in Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, time weird.
Yeah, time weird. But that is all I have to say about.
I was gonna say, yeah, honestly, that's all I pretty much have to say about the Legend of Zelda movie. They don't have a release date. If they do, I'm blind as a bat and hadn't noticed it. But what do you do?
Sad that it's live action. I'd rather what they did with Mario, at least animation. Keep that going.
I would have liked to see that, but
I can vibe with this. I'm vibing with it for now. If they up, they up. If they don't, they don't. We gotta let them cook.
Yeah, we gotta let them cook. That's all we can really do, It seems like it's in at least competent hands. While that doesn't necessarily raise my expectations, it does help keep it lower. I don't know.
That's fair.
I want good actors. That's all I want. I want
can they get
actors because it's rather broad and vague.
Get actors who are actually voice actors.
Who's into Broadway, something like that. People who actually have other talent other than acting. Because guess what? Legend of Zelda is a good key of musical shit as well. To the ocarinas, to the other instruments, to the singing. Hell, going to each different tribe in Breath of the Wild, there's something going on. And music is a very important thing. And hell, if they decided to pull a musical number in this thing, I'm okay with that.
Ew, I'm not. I don't like musicals.
Ew, you're lame.
I am lame. I get what you mean, though. Music does play a pretty big role, so I do hope whoever they do hire to be the sound designer and music guy, get someone
please
competent.
Pick up my gal who just retired from software. Let her take control of.
Oh, especially for some intense fight scenes, especially when they go to fight Ganon.
Intense.
Dark Souls music in the background.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And the oh my god, could it be the end when Gwen's theme?
We're gonna hear certain notes. This is click. This is gonna click.
This is gonna be PTSD flashback.
You're just gonna see me rolling in the theater.
You're getting ready to parry the shit out of Gwen. Unless you're me and you think parrying is for. That's my excuse because I don't know how to parry.
Dodge roll all day.
So that's all I have about the live-action League of Legends.
Oh, Arcane Season 2. I love it.
Oh no!
I can't wait for that.
I can't either. I'm so excited. I will get Netflix for the month just for that and then never deal with it again. But anyway, that's all I have to say about the live-action Legend of Zelda movie. That's not a whole lot of information out on it yet, but I'm sure we will get more as the production of the movie Yeah, as for the continuing of the production of the movie, I lost my train of thought. How do I end this?
You got this.
Remember, folks, always drink water and eat something hearty before doing an activity.
That's all I have to say on the Legend of Zelda movie. I don't know, Robbie, I'm just trying to pick back up where I left off. I told you I wasn't in a good mindset for this, you Canadian bitch.
Gemini, you're fine. You're fine. Anyways, before I let my friends end this episode, there's one thing that I want to talk about that is something that is very, very close to my heart, and that is yet another a round-based zombies game, all in and of itself, named Sker Ritual. I was initially going to talk about this when I played through all of the maps, but with all that I want to talk about in terms of the game itself, I'm gonna have to talk about this over the next couple episodes. So first, I'd like to talk about my overall thoughts of the first two maps of the game and the game in general, and that starts with the fact that if you're not a huge Call of Duty Zombies fan, this game essentially takes a lot of elements from that. It is a first-person, round-based, horde mode game. For those of you that may not know, I'm a huge Call of Duty Zombies fan, except for World War II and Vanguard, which ironically this game takes a lot of aesthetic and visual aspects from, but no gameplay. Gameplay is strictly from Cold War, which I really appreciate because there's actually a lot that I want to go into later on. But this Sker Ritual originated as a sequel to another game called Made of Sker, and that was a single-player horror game. And Sker Ritual originally came out on the PC for a while, and now we are finally getting a console version of the game with all of their roadmap content. And Sker Ritual kind of gives me everything I could ask for in a zombies game at $30, which is incredible. It's got a dark atmosphere, interesting and dynamic enemy typing, and a full-fledged Easter egg and boss fight. The mystery box is actually a doghouse, which is adorable. We've got ammo crates from Cold War, which I appreciate. Another returning aspect is the perk system, where the perks actually act as injections into your bloodstream, which I love, and that's a visual difference, but a similarity would be how they work externally from the game mode. You actually can upgrade them in a menu, so we get permanent upgrades, and with another system I'll talk about in a second, it definitely doesn't feel like it's limiting me, and that system is the miracle coin system. Basically every few rounds you obtain a miracle coin, or every time you get to a certain objective you obtain one, and you can use it to give your character an upgrade for that game. So you can get a grenade that slows down enemies, better aim assist, elemental bullet damage, and the zombies difficulty in round progression feels at a pretty good pace. Kind of feels like the OG days of Black Ops 1, where you kind of got to earn each milestone in the game, and it's not sprint to the end immediately like Black Ops 3. But another thing they have from Black Ops Cold War is the Rampage Inducer, so you can make the difficulty harder at the press of a button. It's amazing. It's awesome. And as for the maps, the first was Cursed Lands of Lavernok, and it's really interesting. It's got this really creepy church, a graveyard, a cornfield, and an underground military base of operations and experimentations. This map had a really cool vibe, and it felt just like the perfect place to start for their zombies excursion. The one thing I will say in between these maps is that the controls are a little bit clunky, but I feel like that can be fixed in balance patches and overhaul patches when they want to polish up the game. And the second map is Ashes of Sker Hotel. This map is actually where I initially tried multiplayer, because since the game was out at that point, I wanted to see how the multiplayer felt in between playing with my friends. And it wasn't half bad, honestly. The connection was solid all the way through for the map that I was able to play on, except for the curse of all round-based zombies experiences, and that's that one of the teammates left halfway through the game. But this map was really cool. It had this really creepy hotel vibe. You could teleport to different sections of the map, which gave it a really tense vibe when you had to go to that location for the Easter egg step. But this map overall was really cool. It had really tight corridors, but the wonder weapon kind of made up for it. It was this blunderbuss rubber band ball. If you've played Advanced Warfare Descent, you just combine the blunderbuss and the trident, and that's the gun you get. Oh, and also the wonder weapon I didn't talk about for the first map map is basically the Wonder Waff. It's the Wonder Waff. This one is a little bit better because the blunderbuss rubber band ball gun, which I call it, it's really good at taking out enemies, and especially when you pack a punch it's great at taking out the boss enemies that you face. And both maps have their own unique style, but with the differing enemy types and the way that the rounds progress and the way that your character progresses through the game, it really feels like it was a worthwhile purchase, and I'm really happy with the result of the game that I ended up getting. And from my whole experience for Sker Ritual up in this point, it's been a very positive experience. Sure, there have been a couple moments of getting used to the clunkiness of it, getting used to how the enemies interact with the player. The other aspect that I really want to point out when it comes to interacting with enemy types is there were so many different enemy types. There was the base zombie, which could have like hatchets and pitchforks, so it's not just swinging their arms, they actually have melee weapons they can use. There was a submarine zombie that would shoot lasers from his eyes. It kind of gave me vibes of like old Scooby-Doo cartoons. And there were a few others too. I don't want to give too much away, but the main overall boss monster of the game, Isaac, in his mini boss form, he's pretty intimidating. He just kind of walks at you, he's kind of like George Romero from Call of the Dead with a lot less health. But yeah, this experience has been great. I'm really happy with Sker Ritual so far. It seems like the zombies community have been coming around to it recently as well, and I look forward to next week when I talk about Sewer of the Dead and Deadly Lover's Fortress. And the one thing that I unfortunately will not be able to talk about, just because it would be disingenuous if I talked about it without genuinely getting it firsthand myself, but I did want to make a mention of it, and that is with the full release of the game, the developers have revealed that the game will have a hardcore version of all of the Easter eggs on the maps. For you hardcore zombies fans, you know that means that there's going to be some Easter egg hunting going on for a couple weeks until everybody figures out all the Easter eggs. From a zombies fan, I will say I love this game. I look forward to playing it into the next week and telling you about my opinions of the last two maps, but as of right now, that's all I have for this week, and now it is time for my friends to end off this episode.
So I'm pretty sure that's all we have to talk about for this week here on the PopCulture Effect. If you're watching this on our YouTube channel, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to check out the other channels and podcasts on CJSW. I'm Gemini, and I would like to thank my wonderful friends for joining me on this, Subset.
Heyo.
And Menace.
Always a good time.
And thank you for listening.
Bye. Bye. Heyo.